episode, I think it's 530.
Sure.
I'll double check that. It's either 529 or 530 of the Pittsburgh Nerd Podcast. I'm Sean.
I'm Ian, and this is the only podcast that says...
Someday I'm going to make giant machines that fly, and me and my friends are going to go flying together into the forever and beautiful sky.
Nice.
Yeah. If you know, you know.
Yeah.
You know. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Yep.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Hanging in there. Went to the old fair.
A bingo dominator.
Catholic Church fair.
Yeah. Just dominating in bingo.
I did, for some reason. I don't know how.
Oh, that's funny. I don't know.
I won so many times. It was ridiculous. The pots are never that big. I mean, we're talking like... Well, that's not true. The first pot I won was $9.
Yeah.
Because there was barely anybody there.
Yeah.
And then, but the rest of them were well over $18 a piece.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
The coverall only covered... The coverall bingo was like $60.
Yeah. I was going to say, if you're getting like $20, you're doing good.
Yeah.
And like a Catholic Church fair bingo.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
Ellie won once. Bree didn't win. I thought for sure she was going to win. But
Yeah.
she didn't. But that was fun. It was a good time.
That's good.
Yeah. Fair food was awful expensive, though.
Yeah.
I thought.
That's where they get you.
I just...
Like, it's the opposite of a bar. Like,
Yeah.
you go to a bar, like, bar food is cheap because they're making their money off the booze.
Yeah.
So they're enticing you to stay
Oh, yeah.
with cheap food
And salty food.
and salty food. Where at a fair, they're making their hay off of the food.
Yeah.
So the prices are always like, you're like, wow, that's expensive for 3 deep fried Oreos. But here you go. You know.
Yeah. Funnel cakes weren't too bad. I think the funnel cakes were only like $6.
Yeah.
Seriously. And funnel cakes were like $6. And but you know, they wanted like $3.50 for a hot dog.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Yeah, and it's just an Oscar Mayer hot dog.
It's just
not,
a cheap ass hot dog.
Yeah.
Wasn't anything big.
Whatever they can get at Costco
Yeah.
at low cost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't anything major.
Yeah.
The burger was good, but it was, you know, I don't know how much that was. I can't remember, but I think they wanted
Like $10.25.
$18 for 6 cabbage rolls.
Yeah, that's...
But the cabbage rolls were only this big.
Yeah.
Brie ate it, so it was horrible.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
Cabbage was like undercooked.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad.
That's a shame.
She didn't get it. She didn't get $18
Yeah.
worth, but she only got 1 cabbage roll. I think.
Yeah.
It was like bad.
Well, that's just like, I mean, like, what was it, next week or the week after is going to be International Village in the Keysport.
Yeah.
I mean, that place is so expensive.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's all that it is food. You know?
And Tamburitzes.
Tamburitzes, yeah. I mean, you know.
No, speaking of that, I went and saw, so it's the second day we've been there.
Yeah.
We went yesterday too. And went up there today or yesterday, and I saw my friend Dwayne from high school.
Yeah.
Which I haven't seen in a while. But he's locally, Thad knows him, I'm sure. He goes by Mikey D.
Yeah.
He's a polka king, man.
Yeah.
That's what he does. He's like a virtuoso. Or, I don't know what to call it, but
yeah.
He plays every instrument. But mostly he plays accordion.
The thing I find fascinating, absolutely fascinating, is that, like, polka music lives on.
It does.
Like, I'm sure it's, like, here and Wisconsin. Or Chicago, maybe. Like, you would think that shit would just die and go away. And it doesn't. It's like, we take a great deal of pride in polka music.
Right, Cleveland.
Yeah, maybe Cleveland, yeah.
No, we do here.
Yeah, like, like I remember like as a young man, like I go to like these fireman events, and they have a DJ, and the DJ was playing polka music. I was like, man, I can't wait till these old fucks die so they can start playing like some good music.
Yeah.
And now you go to a fireman's event, and they're still playing fucking polka music. Like, you know,
Yeah.
like it's like funny that way. Like it's like it just, and it like, and even I'm like, yeah, a good polka, that's not bad. You know, like it's grown on me over the years, and it's like this odd thing of like we do like we carry on that tradition.
Yeah.
Very weirdly.
Yeah, for some reason.
Yeah.
So. Anyway, it was good seeing Dwayne. Not Dwayne, he goes by Mikey D, but
The Polka King of Western Pennsylvania.
he's pretty popular.
Yeah.
He plays a lot of the old folks' homes, and he plays like I think he's really high up on the International Village thing.
Yeah.
And a lot of times he's MC, but his band goes there.
Right.
Yeah, so, you know, it was good seeing him.
But like there are some things that like, and this is like the thing like with International Village. And for those who don't know, this is an event in McKeesport, and it's quite honestly it's a celebration of cultural heritage.
Sure.
And McKeesport has always been a vastly cultural area. So like they have like, I'm gonna say 30 booths
Or more.
set up with every international cuisine you can think of. In all honesty, I mean, there are some I'm like, wow, I can't believe they have that here.
Yeah.
You know? But they also have like a stage set up, and it's like children and adults like performing like ritual dances from the motherland.
Yeah.
You know, and polka music and other bands playing like traditional like Viking songs and shit. You're just like, holy fuck! Like it's a very interesting event to attend. The only problem I always have with that event is it's in the middle of a baseball field and there's no fucking shade anywhere.
No.
And it's like they hold it in the middle of August, and it's 1,001 degrees. It never fucking fails.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like the other side of that though is so this is like a major fundraiser because a lot of these booths, these like they're ran by churches.
Yeah.
So like the Polish booth is a traditionally Polish church. There's a British booth. There's a Scandinavian booth. There,
Slovakia, Greek, everybody.
Yeah. And like the food is amazing. You know what I mean? Like me and Nancy have gone, and Nancy's tried a lot of different things, and I've stayed within my box, but still a lot of good food.
Oh yeah.
And then but it's expensive as fuck.
Yeah.
Because this is like one of their biggest fundraisers of the year for these churches.
Yeah. I always get the lamb sandwich.
Yeah.
It's my favorite thing there. That's it. That's the only reason I go.
Yeah.
No, really. I get the lamb sandwich. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And the gyros are good. But really just for the lamb sandwich.
Yeah.
I don't really get anything else anymore. When I was a kid, it was different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now, if I go, which I haven't been in a while, it's usually the lamb sandwich. From
Yeah.
the Greek booth. I think Greek booth.
Yeah. That'd probably be Greek.
Anyway.
Like Nancy's gotten the grape leaves from the Greek booth.
Mm-hmm.
She dabbles. She goes around. She tries interesting things that she's heard about.
Yeah.
But it runs you a pretty penny.
Oh yeah.
Plus, it's like $5 to get in.
Yeah.
Cindy Keysport's dipping their beak.
Yeah.
I mean, they're gonna get there. And I mean, the problem becomes like parking is a mess. So like some places, like some of these churches even charge you to park.
Yeah, I know. It's bullshit.
Yeah. So it's a real racket.
I agree.
Anyway. That sounds like you had fun at least.
Oh yeah.
Exciting time had by all.
Yeah, it was a good time.
I did nothing this week.
Well, you watch some stuff.
I watched some stuff. Yeah, I did watch. I'll start with the first thing I watched, and we'll get to the main event. The first thing I watched was a documentary on Peacock about professional wrestler Cody Rhodes. Okay. I'm a fan. I'm a big fan. I became a fan of his when he left WWE and was like on the independent and went to New Japan and was in Ring of Honor. And then they formed AEW, and he was like a cornerstone of that. Then he left and went back to WWE. And so, what I always find interesting about anytime you have a guy like this who left the WWE bubble, how is that going to be portrayed?
Yeah.
6 years of his life, he was outside of WWE. He left WWE because he was stuck in a bad gimmick and they weren't doing anything with him, and he thought he was worth more than what they were giving him. He left and he proved himself. He became a main event performer. He comes back to WWE, and that's exactly what he is. He's one of the top guys, if not the top guy. He went from being undesirable to undeniable, as he says. Yeah. So but that 6 years, it was interesting to see how it was portrayed.
Okay.
Because WWE, they don't like acknowledging that there's something outside of their world.
Right.
Very rarely will they acknowledge somebody's history.
Right.
And in the case of Cody, you almost have to. You can't. It's part of his story.
Yeah.
And in the documentary, there were some things I was upset they didn't talk, and they couldn't get permission, I'm sure, to Dustin Rhodes, his older brother. His older brother still works for AEW. I know he was involved in the Dusty Rhodes documentary, but I guess they couldn't get permission for him to be a part of this. Because part of the beginning of AEW was the very first pay-per-view, the cornerstone match, the main event match almost, was Cody versus Dustin. Okay. And it's considered one of the all-time great matches ever. And that wasn't talked about. Him breaking the throne, that match, he comes out and they have a throne that looks like something Triple H would have sat on, and he smashes it with a sledgehammer and it explodes, and that's not brought up, And at the end of it, when they reach the end of that period, and he says, I want you, if there's anything I want you to do, I don't want you to edit this part. Don't you even leave this part in. The reason I left AEW wasn't the reason you saw on the internet. But I will tell you, the reason I left AEW was personal. I'm not going to tell you why. I'm not going to tell you what was involved. Just that it was personal. Which leads you to speculate what that was. But then the next thing you see is Triple H. Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Known for a very long time as one of the best of his era. And he's now, he married the boss's daughter. He's the guy who's in charge of creative. He's the top dog in WWE from an executive standpoint. And he goes, I'm sure it was never Cody's dream to hold the world title of a secondary promotion. I was like, man, that's a shot fired.
Yeah.
I get why you would say that, but at the same time, come on, Hunter.
Yeah.
So but if you like professional wrestling, if you like Cody Rhodes, I think you'll find the documentary interesting. I find that 6 year period, I thought they could have explored some things, and I don't know if they couldn't, or they just didn't want to.
Yeah.
From when, that time period. But overall, I thought it was a very well done documentary, and I enjoyed the hell out of it.
Good.
So I highly recommend it if you're into that sort of thing.
Sure.
And then yet last night I watched Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Yeah?
That was a hard watch.
Yeah, I know.
It was phenomenal.
Oh, I
Like, it's a phenomenal movie. But, man, I had tears rolling down my cheeks several times.
I know.
You know, it was a beautiful movie. In a lot of ways. Like, there's a lot of things I loved about that movie. And, like, there's a lot of little moments I loved about that movie. And I loved, like, just a little... Like, the way they teased, like, is this person gonna die? Is that person gonna die? Is this like, and I know you said it was kind of secondary, and you're right, it was, but I actually liked the way they used Adam Warlock.
Okay.
Like, I did. Like, I thought it was well, like, I'm not gonna say well done, but like, I didn't think it was a waste like I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
Like, I like the fact that, like spoiler, like, you know, the Supreme, the villain, like,
yeah.
he created the Sovereign.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and like, I like, because they're genetically manipulating themselves, and he was genetically manipulating them. He was like, you know, so like, I like it. Even like the high priest is like, yeah, he wasn't done. Like, he needed to cook a little longer. So like, I like that aspect of it. I liked it. I thought, like, okay, this makes a bit more sense in the story than just giving us the great Adam Warlock.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that was my concern. Like, man, like, if you're giving me Adam Warlock, like, yeah, like, you can say, well, yeah, this isn't the Adam Warlock we read in the comic books, and you're right, it's not. But I thought, like, for what the story needed, it made sense.
Right.
And, like, I felt it fit in well enough that even, like, at the end of it all, like, you know, telling him, like, everybody deserves a second chance. You know, that's why he saved them. You know, and so there's Adam Warlock to save Quill. You know,
yeah.
Like, that was like, and it made. And it, like, the whole thing, like, again, like, you know, the whole thing's about family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's... I just really... Like, the music was phenomenal. The way the music was used was phenomenal. The, like... I mean, right from the beginning with Creep.
Yeah. Oh, that was amazing.
Yeah. You know, like... It was just so much good stuff in there.
I know.
And, like, and then you started, like, with the flashbacks with Rocket. I was just like...
I liked how the story was centered on Rock.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It wasn't... It was centered on Rocket, but he wasn't a part of the story.
Correct.
He was basically the mechanism pushing the story forward.
Correct.
But meanwhile, he is the center of the story because you're learning about how he was created, the horrors that he endured.
Correct.
And what made him who he is.
Yeah, because each flashback scene brought him back into the storyline.
Yeah.
So you just, like, it's like Gunn made sure that you never forgot about just some dying raccoon in a spaceship.
Right.
Like, it was this constant storyline within a storyline that just kept going.
Right.
And it was amazing. He told 3 stories in one movie. You know what I mean? Like, which I found incredible.
Yeah. But, like, Nebula seeing the value of Drax, who she thought was just an idiot.
Yeah.
You know, and Mantis, and, like we always make the joke, and it's true, like, they've always been a dysfunctional family right from the first movie.
Right.
But by the end of the third movie, they're no longer as dysfunctional. Like, they see the value of each other.
Right, and I loved how Mantis defended him.
Yeah.
Like, immediately.
Yeah.
Like, he's not stupid.
Yeah.
Or he is stupid.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean?
It doesn't mean you get to pick on him because of that.
Right.
You know?
And then, like, the look on his face.
Yeah.
When he, you know... Because they're talking about him right there.
Yeah. When he's like, I don't think I appreciate this defense.
Right. And then she's like, forget.
Yeah.
Which is heart-wrenching.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just, I don't know. But anyway, it was fucking great. Truly.
Yeah.
And it even got a little bit scary there for a little bit at the end.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, horrific. Almost a horror sense.
Yeah.
But, the Rocket story was just brutal.
Yeah.
Like, when she dies...
Oh, Lila. Oh, crushed me.
Oh. And him screaming.
Yeah.
And then the rest of his friends
dead.
It was brutal.
Yeah.
And that was just absolutely brutal.
It was. It 100% was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And told very well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Extraordinarily well done. Yeah.
Yeah. Just really good. And then when he sees him again, when he's dying.
Yeah.
That was brutal. He's waving in the back.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And when Lila tells, like, what you haven't realized is the story has been yours all along.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck.
And it was so good. There's so many good moments in this movie.
There is.
But it's not just on Rocket. I mean, there's good moments throughout the whole thing. I actually thought that Quill took the background in this.
He did.
Which I appreciated even more.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, we know Quill's story.
Yeah.
There's nothing else left for Quill to unravel here.
Right.
I mean, there is. But I mean, like, not in this sense.
Right.
Not what we were dealing with.
Right.
So, I love how he took the backstory. His only story was his feelings for Gamora. Oh, his feelings for Gamora
and saving his friend. Yeah.
But when he's hugging Rocket, when he gets him back,
yeah,
another cry
Oh
moment.
yeah.
I mean, that was brutal.
Yeah.
You know. Then they all come in.
Yeah.
And Groot wraps him. Damn. Yeah, it was so centered around family.
Even like the moment, like when they're figuring out that Mantis, Drax, and Nebula are still on the ship, and Rocket says something like, "That's Rocket." Like, "Oh yeah, Rocket's okay," and Mantis just like, "We love you, Rocket."
Yeah, and then Nebula like breaks down.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
that's a part that I picked out of that scene. The whole scene is actually Nebula and was losing it.
Yeah.
Nebula?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like how much she's grown with her character.
But also, like, you think about, she also has that extra 5 years with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, they were together during the blip.
Yeah.
So she got 5 years to, like,
get to know him.
Yeah.
It was crazy. That dropping of the F-bomb was a great moment.
Oh, yeah.
It was the perfect place for it.
Yeah. The first F-bomb in Marvel history.
And it was a great place for it to put it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just open the fucking door.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fucking perfect. You know? Like, it doesn't... I don't know, dude. There's just so many moments in this where it's just like, man, that's fucking crazy.
I do wish they had given that F-bomb to Rocket.
Yeah.
Like, I wish there was a moment where he was with the villain and he goes, you know, like, what do you think you are? He's like, I'm a guardian of the fucking galaxy.
Yeah.
Like, that would have been like, okay, yeah, that's where it deserved. But, like, it was great. Like, just open the fucking door. Like,
Right.
It's like, did you say fuck?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I just thought it was great.
Yeah.
It was a happy sort of ending.
Yeah.
Which I was shocked. Like, when I knew it was going to come out, and after I had seen Suicide Squad, I was like, Gunn's going to kill everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
you had no qualms.
no. He's like, you know, Kirkman of The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
They're just going to die. All of them. You know what I mean?
Like, somehow he's gotten notes from Joss Whedon.
Yeah.
You know.
It's like nervous.
Yeah.
watching the movie because I didn't want any of them to die.
And they teased a ton of like, oh, that's when this person goes.
Especially Drax, because I thought Drax was going to be the first to go.
Yeah.
Because he had that blunt shot. I'm like, oh, he's done.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm like, oh, God. You know? I thought they were going to die.
Yeah.
At least some of them, you know? And then at the end, I thought Quill was going to die. I didn't see the Adam Warlock thing coming.
No, neither did I.
Because when I saw Groot, I knew Groot was going to do that. I saw that coming.
Right.
But I didn't expect I didn't see the ice and breaking into branches coming.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? I was like, oh, fuck, he's not going to make it. He's not going to reach him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I thought for sure Quill was dead.
I was like, that's how they're going to do it.
Yeah.
And then he was like, did it look cool?
Yeah.
Like, that's badass. Classic Quill line.
Yeah.
Right? It was great. It was. The moment with, what's his name in Yondu?
Oh, yeah.
It's hard to even see Yondu on screen without getting choked up.
Yeah, but then it's like, from your heart, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
The dog killing that thing.
Oh, Cosmo. Cosmo was the best.
I know.
Bitching when they're playing cards. I am not a bad dog.
Yeah.
Critcher's like, yeah, you are. Just take it the fuck. Like, even Howard the Duck is like, just take it the fuck back.
Yeah.
I can't do it. She's a bad dog.
Yeah.
You know.
But him figuring out the whistle, I thought was important.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Quill giving the ship to Rocket.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I thought that was good. I mean, there was just so many good moments I can't even express.
I agree. Like, it's an extraordinary move. Like,
What song were they playing when they were in the jumpsuits? Was that Bowie? No.
No, but I can't remember. But I mean, like every single song.
What did it end with? It ended with a Springsteen song.
Well,
right?
Like the last song that like really plays like during the movie. Like I think the Springsteen song is in the credits.
Yeah.
But the last song that like they play like is Florence and the Machine.
Yeah, yeah.
That Florence and the Machine song.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a really good song to kind of like go. Like I was like, that's good.
Yeah.
You know, like there was just a lot of good stuff. Like it was
intense.
It was. It really was. I mean, like from beginning to end, and everything in the middle is just. There's no down moment. There's no moment where you're like, oh fuck, I wish this would. Like no, it's just really good.
But even Gamora going back.
Yeah.
To the guys. It was like
to the Ravagers, yeah.
Back family again, right?
Yeah.
It's that family thing that he kept pushing.
Right. But, like, that's her... Like, it's that funny thing. Like, he had to come to grips with the fact that that's not his Gamora.
Mm.
She'll never be his Gamora. Like, she gained an appreciation for him and could probably see what that Gamora saw in him.
Yeah.
But that's not her.
Right.
But, like, the fact that the Ravagers are her family.
Right.
That's what's, like, you know...
And that's the love they showed her and what she saw in the Guardians.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially when they were all hugging. All of them at the end.
Yeah.
It was amazing. I'm glad it ended the way it ended.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does.
Like, nobody had to die.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They even saved the children and the fucking animals.
Yeah.
They saved everybody.
Yeah.
Because they're the freaking Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing.
It was.
Oh, the fucking skull ship.
Yeah.
With the cannons. I was like, load up number 2. I was like, oh shit, this is like a fucking pirate movie.
Yeah.
And they fucking like that was wicked.
That was so well done.
A floating fucking planet in a sense. You know what I mean? I was so impressed. I was like, it's awesome. It's just so awesome. You know what I mean? Like,
Kill everybody in that dead god's head. You know, like,
right. Shit. Yes.
Yeah.
And he was a great villain. I hated him.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
That was like, I think, one of Marvel's best villains that they ever did. That's ever been portrayed.
And I'm glad he's dead.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't want him to survive. Like you want, like, Loki to survive. We wanted Lee Pace in the first Guardians movie to survive.
Yeah.
Like those are, like, because they were great villains that you just wanted to see come back.
Yeah.
That villain, I was like, yo, he has got to die.
Right.
Like, to quote the great Samuel Jackson, I'm glad he's dead. I hope he's burning in hell.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
He was awful.
He was.
He was an awful villain. And, this is, like, one of the first times that Marvel's come out with a villain that I actually absolutely hated.
Yeah.
Like,
For all the right reasons.
Right.
Yeah. Like, there was no... Like, with Thanos, you could even say,
He's a great villain.
he's a great villain, or, but, man, he's right to a certain aspect.
Yeah, yeah.
I just like how you're going about things. Like, with this guy, there was no sympathy. There was no, this is how things... No, you are an asshole.
Yeah.
And you need to die.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there was no redeeming qualities about this guy whatsoever. None.
Like, even, like, when Nebula's like, Thanos didn't even torture me like this.
Right.
That's all you need to know. Like, to me.
Right. How evil this person was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed, man. I'm like, man, I hated that motherfucker.
Yeah.
And when Rocket jumped him and just tore his face to shreds, I was like, good for him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Ugh. That was a badass moment, too.
Yeah.
When Rocket was there alone and his whole family came and fucking knocked that guy the fuck out.
Yeah.
That was badass.
Yeah.
Because it was almost like an Avengers moment.
Yeah.
Within this small space.
Right.
Everybody was doing their part.
Right.
I thought that was awesome.
It was.
I also liked the fucking tunnel scene.
Yeah.
That was wicked.
Yeah.
That whole scene was very Matrixy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it was just awesome.
Yeah.
And you saw gore and, like,
Yeah.
ripping of things in half.
Yeah.
Groot being brutal.
Yeah.
Not just through the stomach.
Yeah.
Going through their fucking heads.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that was wicked. I loved it. Loved it. It also showed you the strength of Adam Warlock when he came across one of those things and he just fucking lopped its head off.
Yeah.
Physically tore its head off.
Yeah.
He doesn't even know his own strength.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, does not know.
Yeah.
And that thing was a force to be reckoned with, and
Yeah.
he handled it like it was
Yeah.
a piece of meat.
Yeah.
But man, it was fucking great, man. The whole thing was fucking good. The funny moments were good. The couch scene was great.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean, like, it's filled with stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a great movie.
I agree.
It's one of the best Marvel movies made.
Yeah.
I have to say. I'm going to say, oh man, Guardians 1 was so good. But I think this storyline was better. I like this storyline they went with.
Yeah.
I know two different movies, but I like the first one so much because it's the introduction of all of them.
Right.
And getting together.
Right.
You took his leg? You know, that's a fucking great line.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought it'd be interesting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it was moments like that with Rocket all through the first one. But this story was so much deeper.
Right.
Which I appreciated.
Yeah.
So, I don't know where it ranks. I mean, I know it's either first or second. But I just don't know where to put it. It's hard.
I got it.
One was all Quill. You know what I mean? Quill and Rocket, really.
Yeah. Like, I put it the second.
Yeah.
Only because, like, I think they're even. But I think Lee Pace puts that over just a little bit more as the villain.
The ending in that was amazing.
Yeah.
The holding of the hands thing.
Yeah.
Badass.
Yeah, like that was bad. Like
It's a dance off, mother.
yeah, like that was amazing. Like the ending of that with Yondu not getting the stone
And knowing it.
and just kind of laughing because and like like this, like it's funny. We're not even talking about the second one.
Yeah.
And the second one's very good, but it's just not even close to these two movies.
It's not. The only thing that second one has that outdoes either one of them is that Yondu moment where he saves his ass.
Yeah.
And that's like, it. Not only is it heartbreaking, but it's just good, well written. Do you know what I mean? But that can't make up for the whole movie.
Right. But that also like has like my favorite beginning of the three movies.
Yeah.
Like the beginning of the first one with Quill dancing to the Redbone song.
Yeah.
That's great. And that was like a great beginning. You're like, oh wow, this is different.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
know. And the beginning of the third one with Creep is so good, but it's kind of heartbreaking a little bit because of
Yeah.
like everything is like it's Rocket, like the song, like everything that goes in that. You're like, oh man, this is a little. That's hitting the nerve. But that second one, the way that opens, I know it's like it's Baby Groot, and everyone's like, oh, Baby Groot, but between that and the ELO song, I just like that beginning. Like,
Yeah, it's a good beginning.
It
No
is.
doubt. I love how the song drowned out everything that was going on in the background.
Yeah.
And I thought that was like really well filmed.
Yeah.
Like really well thought of.
Like, and you'd see things in the background. The focus is on, and you see like shit's going wrong behind him.
Oh, way wrong.
Yeah, and he's just dancing, and he's riding some little critter, and like all this shit that go. But like in the meantime, like shit's just going horribly wrong behind him.
That was brutal in the beginning of Guardians 3 with Quill.
Yeah.
And getting carried to bed.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, he's in a dark, dark place.
Yeah.
Damn. Which explains his exit.
Right, but I also kind of wish, and this is like a weird thing, I wish we had seen hints of that at the beginning of Thor.
Yeah.
And also during the Christmas special.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the beginning of Thor, like you feel like, oh, he's got his shit together.
Yeah.
And he knows he needs to get Thor off of his ship.
Yeah, yeah.
And in the Christmas special, like there's no hint of it. Like, it's like he's happy that he has a sister.
Right.
He just misses Christmas.
Yeah.
Like, I love the Christmas special.
Yeah, it's good.
It's very well done. I love at the end, the Easter egg. Like, if you go all the way to the end of the credits, and, his grandfather's reading the paper. On the paper, it says, alien abductee Kevin Bacon tells a story.
Yeah.
Like on the newspaper. I'm like, that's hysterical. So, it's stuff like that. Like, I just wish, like, seeing him, like, drunken in this dark place, I was like, man, it wasn't hinted at before this.
Right.
So.
Anyway.
But overall, fantastic movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
So, let's move on now to Star Trek Strange New Worlds.
Okay.
Okay? 2 episodes that we have to review.
Uh-huh.
One, I did a semi-review of last week when I said that episode, the Klingon episode, was probably one of the best episodes of television I've ever watched.
Yeah, it was good. I don't know that far, but it was good.
Okay.
I mean, it was good. I'm not.
Yeah.
I mean, it was good.
Right.
Real good. But, yeah, I love that episode.
I thought
I like where it went.
I thought the way it touched on like PTSD, the way it touched on like there's something about like, and I feel like this is the same thing like in like 1945. You can't forgive the Germans. You can't forgive the Japanese.
Yeah.
We beat them, but there's still a level of hatred there.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's the same thing here. Like, and we even see it later on with Kirk, like in Star Trek 6.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, but it is very interesting, like, depiction of, like, these people who fought in this war and the resentment they have of this person.
Yeah.
And then to top it all off, like, him taking credit for something he didn't do.
Right.
I know. But I love the flashbacks. I love the MASH unit setup of that base.
Yeah.
I loved like the doctor like just making that decision like yeah, he's got to go. Like we've got other lives to save. The kid in the buffer, gone.
Yeah.
Didn't even think twice about it. Like
Right.
like there was so much interesting stuff that was taking place in that episode to me, with both the flashbacks and then like the way it ends.
Oh, I know.
Like it was so intense, and it's like that's why to me is like one of the best episodes of television I've ever watched.
Okay.
Because that's not a Star Trek resolution.
No, it's not.
Like Gene Roddenberry would not have let that fly.
Nah.
I as much as people love to, praise the great bird, he wouldn't have let that fly. Because that's not what the future is supposed to be.
Yeah.
But yet to me, the human aspect of that makes so much sense. And the fact that, like, he went through everybody to get to that guy.
Yeah.
And, like, it was like, no, it wasn't that guy. It was this guy who fought the hardest. He's the one who kept me from getting to you. And like, oh, shit. Like, And, like, the uncomfortableness that you felt at that dinner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it was so uncomfortable
Oh, I know.
to watch.
Yeah, it was.
You know what I mean? Like I just thought that episode was it was one of the most intense episodes of any show I've ever watched. I mean, and Battlestar Galactica got really fucking intense at times. And it was like, wow, this is...
I like the fight he was having with him.
Yeah.
Because he was holding back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I like that part of it.
But like it was like so well done in the way it ended, and like...
You think Pike knew?
I think he knew.
You think he knows his past?
Oh, yeah.
Do you think he knows he was the Butcher?
No. I think that's the thing he doesn't know. But I think he knows... I mean, he knows he was on that planet. He knows what happened. I don't think he knows... I don't think like there's any... If there's any official Starfleet record, it's under, Section 31.
Yeah.
Because he also took, Protocol 13?
Yeah.
Well,
she knows.
She knows.
She knows exactly.
Chapel knows exactly what the fuck happened. Yeah. But I mean, like, it's that I just thought it was an amazing episode of television myself, and like at the end of it, like I sat there for like 5 more minutes, like after it was over, just like, wow, what did I just watch? Because you don't expect that from Star Trek,
right?
Like it can go to some interesting places, but it's never gone there,
right?
At least not to my knowledge. I'm sure somebody can correct me, and I'm sure there may be like some Deep Space Nine or some Voyager episodes that kind of deal with something close to this. But like to me, like this was just like very new territory for Star Trek to go to, and it got dark, but it got dark really. It didn't go dark for dark's sake. It went dark to tell an interesting story.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I agreed.
And then there was the musical episode.
Yeah.
What did you think? I'll let you go. What did you think of it? 'Cause I think everybody knows what my thoughts are.
Well, I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're going to do a musical episode, I thought it was done very well.
Yeah.
I thought that the singing was excellent. I thought the way that it was constructed was excellent.
Right.
The way they were still talking in Star Trek terms were excellent. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the things I wanted to pick up. Was it going to be just a stupid Porgy and Bess type of thing, or is it actually going to have Star Trek content written within the musical itself, the music itself?
Right.
And it was original songs, and I thought it was actually pretty good. I got the science, well, like I understand it, but I got where they were coming from.
Right.
Like I understood this whole thing that was happening.
Right.
And they had to try to correct that.
Right.
So I get that whole point. It always makes me nervous on stuff like that too, because usually stuff like that's stupid.
Right.
Like when you see it on TV. This wasn't that stupid to me.
Right.
You know, I thought it was good. I thought it explored some relationships that needed to be explored.
Right.
And yeah, I thought it was actually pretty good. I mean, I've seen a lot of musicals.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, the way the songs were constructed and written, I actually appreciated it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Especially coming... Was it my favorite episode of all time? No, it's not.
Right.
But it was light enough episode, which, like, I think you needed it after that last episode.
Right. Yeah.
And I thought it was actually good because it still told a story within a story. It explained Spock's relationship status. It explained what was going on with that. Do you know what I mean? Like, there was a lot of things that they're in this whole musical episode. They actually captured the whole Kirk thing, and like,
right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, there were things within this episode that were actually that had come to light.
Right.
You know what I mean? They were just done to music.
Right.
So that was my take.
All right. I think you're right. I think from a story standpoint, I thought they told a good story. And I do, like you said, wrapping up some threads, and opening new ones.
Yeah.
However, like, no, it was not my cup of tea. Like, do I wish they had not done a musical episode? Yes. Am I upset that they did a musical episode? No. You know, other people enjoyed it. Other people were completely enraptured by it.
Right.
It's tough for me to bitch about, oh, they did a musical episode after the episode they did previous to this, which I thought was amazing.
Right.
You know.
And I think if you're watch modern musicals and stuff like that, do you know, not you, I'm just talking about in general.
Yeah.
That you can see where this falls in line.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like the speaking.
Right.
Like, I mean, I think that if you're going to do one, I think they pulled it off.
Right.
Put it that way. It never appeared dumb to me.
Somebody put it online. I don't know who it was, so I don't know who to give credit to. But they said it, from a story standpoint, it made as much sense as the Buffy musical episode. Again, I'm not a fan of the Buffy musical episode, but it was really well done in how they fit it into the story.
Right.
And it was the same thing here. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
From a story standpoint, everything made sense. I even love that they kind of like, okay, there are rules to this.
Right.
So how do we manipulate the rules to our advantage?
And again, the whole episode wasn't a musical.
Right.
And that's what I really liked about it.
Right.
Is because they had these breaks.
Right.
It would only happen certain times.
Right.
Under duress or whatever.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? But, I thought, I don't know. I like that part of it. It wasn't constant. It was like,
right.
This would happen and this would happen. And
right.
Am I fucking singing again?
Yeah.
I can't believe this is fucking happening again.
Right.
But they can't help it because they're under.
Yeah.
It's no worse than fucking Kirk and McCoy dressing up like cowboys and going back to the Wild West.
Right.
Because that shit is fucking corny. And I'm just saying that I appreciated this.
Right. Like, I mean, I'll say it this way. It wasn't my cup of tea. I knew it going in. It wasn't going to be my cup of tea.
Right.
You know, but I'm not going to shit on it and be like, oh, this was fucking awful. Because it wasn't. But it just wasn't for me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, I get that.
Yeah. So, like, the people who enjoyed it, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I don't hold it against you for enjoying it. But, like, don't hold it against me because it just wasn't for me.
No, I'm not coming down on your ass about it because I knew you wouldn't like it anyway.
Right. But, like, there are other people who would. Like, there are people out there like, oh, you're a Nazi or, you know, whatever. No. You know, you're a fun Nazi. No, I just don't like musicals. You know, with few exceptions.
Right.
You know, and I'm sorry it wasn't the Music Man.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
No, but it was. I just thought that it told a good story. I was kind of surprised on how well they did sing. Like, I had no idea Anson Mount can sing like that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I thought that I just felt that the music they did perform, not just as a group either, it was like the individual stuff.
Yeah.
It was really good. It was really well done music.
Like, if I was to choose, like, say, like...
I mean, the quality of the music that was written was actually really good.
It was. Like, I'll even admit, like, if there's one moment that, like, I found myself tapping my foot or something, was the musical number in the bar with Chapel.
Okay, yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that I thought, okay, that like, from a music standpoint, from the, you know, what's being said, like, yeah, this really worked.
It did work, but it also really told that story well.
Yeah.
Like, really, like, I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the music actually told the story of what she was feeling inside.
Right.
Which was like, wow, Spock's in that dust.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I get that.
Right.
And it was Spock's little thing where he was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I thought it was great. I did. I thought the music was just really superb. You know, if they're going to do it, then do it right. And then I think they did it right.
Right.
It could have been a lot worse, believe me.
No, I think they did it right. I got no problem. Like, I thought they did a fantastic job with it. If it was my cup of tea, I would have enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I feel. But...
I just like the aspect that they didn't really understand what was going on in the beginning.
Right.
They're like, did I just fucking rhyme?
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on?
Right.
Pike bleeding his heart out on front screen. Like,
yeah. So, like, I thought it was really, really good from the standpoint of the story that it told.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I appreciate it for what it is. Not my thing. Can't wait till next week when they're, you know, when the Gorn come to town.
Oh, that's the final episode, right?
Yeah. So, like, you know, but, like, the people who do, like, I'm glad you did.
Yeah.
I'm glad it was for you. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's all. Like, that's just my standpoint. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I did. I liked it.
You know, like it
was. Like I said, it wasn't my favorite episode.
Right.
But I appreciated what they were doing with the episode. I just liked the fact that it still kept going on with the story.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it just wasn't this completely break and then it's just this whole musical number.
Right.
No, it just gotta, you know, there's other pieces in play here.
Right.
That we're throwing in, you know, that we're wrapping up and continuing on. I like that. I liked how they didn't just abandon that.
Yeah.
And they just kept going with the stories as they do every single episode.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not this overall arc like Discovery.
Right.
But they kept within the...
But it wouldn't have worked with Discovery.
No, I know that.
Right.
I'm not saying that.
No, right.
What I'm saying is, like, I'm saying not... Forget what I'm saying is, like, there's no, like, really overall arc. It's self-contained within the relationships within this vessel.
Right, because this show is episodic,
right,
and not telling an overall story arc,
right,
you can do this episode and it works.
Yeah.
Whereas if you try to jam that into Discovery somehow with the way they tell stories, it wouldn't.
It just wouldn't fit.
Right.
It doesn't fit that.
Right.
It's not. It doesn't fit anywhere.
Right.
You know. So
even though watching Saru sing and dance would probably be amazing.
the only part that I didn't like was the Klingon part. That's the only part that I didn't like.
There was some controversy around that.
I did not like it. I thought it was dumb. It felt out of place. It felt like bad. It felt like bad
Bad boy band bullshit.
dance school
Yeah.
trying to do hip hop.
Yeah.
Like, it was just bad.
Yeah.
It was just... It did not fit. I get where they were going with it, with the comedy aspect of it. It just did not... It just did not fit. At all.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, there were some people who thought it was hysterical, or some people were like, "Oh, this is bullshit."
Yeah, I just did not like it.
Right.
I thought it should have been like... I don't know. Something from like the Barber of Seville or something. Like, I just could not understand
Like, yeah, like why they went with like a K-pop boy band feel.
rap thing.
Yeah, instead of like they should have been like doing like a Viking war song or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it just didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
I thought that was horrible.
Right.
That's the one takeaway that I came away with.
Yeah.
That I did not like.
Right.
When that came on, I was like, you were doing so good up until this point. You
Right.
just fucking ruined it. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
what I said out loud. I was like, I just ruined it. This is terrible. But thank God it only lasted like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
It just didn't fit.
I agree. I do agree with that. Yeah.
It's almost like they tried to do a Hamilton thing, but then it was bad.
It felt, like I said, it felt like something out of like a boy band or like a K-pop boy band.
Yeah.
Like,
It was just bad.
yeah.
It didn't fit.
Yeah.
I was actually excited to see what they were going to sing, and then when they came out with that, I was like... You
Yeah.
could just hear the raspberries from Simon.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Wah, wah. Yeah. So. Alright, so, let's move on to a little bit of news. I thought this was interesting. So, apparently, Gal Gadot is not done as Wonder Woman.
Okay.
Possibly. I'm not quite sure. She stated in an interview, "I love portraying Wonder Woman, so it's close to and dear to my heart. From what I've heard from James and from Peter, James Gunn and Peter Safran, we're going to develop a Wonder Woman 3 together."
Okay.
So, like, a lot of people were like wondering, like, well, how can this be done? Like, how can you fit Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman into the new DCU? And I say, why can't you? Like, we've been dealing with multiverses. We're dealing with a multiverse with Flash.
Yeah.
And like we've seen in Doctor Strange, and in some multiverses, the people can look the same as from your universe. And as we've seen from Spider-Man No Way Home, they can look different from you in other universes. So, like, why can't we suspend belief and just believe that Gal Gadot is Wonder Woman?
Yeah. I think she's a great Wonder Woman.
I do too.
I just didn't enjoy the second movie.
No, neither did I. And I'd like to see, like...
But I don't think that should finish off her career.
Right.
As Wonder Woman.
Right. I mean, people were upset that, Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman 3 got canned. But that's because it didn't fit into what Gunn and Safran want to do.
Right.
If you're taking the same actress, but using her in a way that makes sense in your universe, I've got no problem with that.
Yeah. I don't either.
You know what I mean? Like, it makes sense to me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it works.
Yeah.
Like, the other side of that, too, is like, if Momoa works as your Aquaman, why are you recasting it?
Right.
Like, I understand why you want to recast Batman. I understand why you want to recast Superman. Like, I understand why you want to change other things. But The other side of that, though, is like, okay, this actor works for the way I want the character to be, to be. So why am I changing the actor?
You like Momoa as Aquaman?
I do. I like his version of Aquaman.
Yeah.
Like, he's not the comic book version. He's not the cartoon version. He's kind of his own version.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that.
Yeah.
And like, I want to see where he can take the character.
Right. I got you.
You know, like, the thing I love is, like, Gunn is talking about, like, this is a world where superheroes already exist.
Right.
Like, it's not like the Marvel Cinematic Universe where you're starting off with square one with Iron Man.
Yeah.
You know, and we're like, all of a sudden superheroes are coming into the forefront.
Yeah.
No, he's saying that they've already been there.
Right.
And that's why they're casting 2 or 3 in the Superman movie. Like, it's... So, yeah, Wonder Woman could have been around for a while.
Yeah. Well, she has been.
Right. But, I mean, like, my point is, like, you know, she can be a part of this universe.
Yeah.
You don't have to retell her origin story.
Right.
You know, you've got an actress that many people do enjoy as the character.
Right.
So why fuck it up?
Yeah. I think it'll be fun.
I think so too, but like there are some people who are like, this doesn't make any sense. And if it's the case, why did you fire Henry Cavill? Because they didn't have Cavill as their Superman.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like they didn't. They want to go in a different direction with Superman. I understand that. It bums me out, but I understand it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the same thing with Batman. I love Affleck as Batman.
Me too.
You know, but I also understand you want to go in a different direction. You want to try something different. I am very cool with that.
I thought Affleck was a good Batman.
Yeah, I do too.
I wish they would have explored that more. I know Affleck was working on a script and everything like that.
Apparently, from what I read an article this week, like the script that he was working on, there was a guy. Let me pull up the article here real quick. So, who was it? Jay Olivia, who is a longtime storyboard artist for Warner Brothers DC.
Uh-huh.
He said, I've worked on a lot of Batman things, and what was really cool about it was they were tying together a lot of really cool Batman storylines that have never really been explored. Ben's story is going to cover something that had never really been covered in comics, but was building off of storylines in the Batman mythos for the last 80 years and approaching it from a new kind of perspective. So I'd love to like. Someday maybe it'll get leaked. I'd love to read the script.
Yeah.
Like, I know the Kevin Smith Superman Lives script was leaked years ago, and I've read that script, and that sounded very interesting. I read the script for the Justice League movie that was going to be done by the guy who directs the Mad Max movies.
Okay.
And that was batshit crazy, and I wish it had been made. Mm-hmm. You know, so I would love to, like, read the script for this Batman movie that Affleck had, just to see, like, what road were you going to go down? Because Affleck's a fan. Like, he honestly is a fan to the point, like, in the house that he sold to Kevin Smith, he had, like a panic room. But you get into the panic room, like, but with, like, the... Like going into the Batcave.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like you lift the statue's head, you press the button. Like, you know, like, it was something like that. Like... So it's like this like really cool thing, wow, like you're a fan,
Yeah, I know.
you know. And he's always like, I know he did Daredevil, and he was a Daredevil fan, but like he's always talked about, and Kevin Smith always talked about, he was a Batman fan first and foremost.
Yeah,
like that was his dream role. Like I'm bummed out that like his dream role became a pain in his ass.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah,
like. Because you never want, like, I feel bad that he walked away with like the sour taste in his mouth of like, wow, I wish I hadn't done that. Because you got to play Batman.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, fuck, how cool was that, dude?
Yeah, right. Your dream role.
Yeah. And so I would love to have seen like what he wanted to do with a solo movie.
Yeah.
Like, what was his ideas? What direction would he have taken?
Right.
You know? So, like, that... I'm bummed that it didn't happen, but, like, I look forward because, like, I'm interested to see what James Gunn and Peter Safran have for the character as well. And giving us, again, like, an older version of Batman. Not quite Dark Knight old, but... like, old enough to have, like, a 12-year-old son.
Yeah.
Who, you know, has been raised his entire life by the League of Shadows to be an assassin.
Right.
You know, that sounds interesting to me.
Yeah.
You know. So, like, it's tough to, like, be pissed, but at the same time, like, there is just a morbid curiosity about, like, what could have been.
Right. Understood.
You know?
Yeah. Anyway.
It's like I've often wondered, I know he's done, like, he did, like, an audio play for charity once of it. Like, what was the original script for Clerks 3? Because he was supposed to do it years ago, Kevin Smith, and he couldn't get Jeff Anderson on board. There was, like, all sorts of problems with the Weinsteins and who owned the rights to Clerks. And, you know, so Jeff Anderson was just like, you can't get this shit straight, I'm out. So he had this completed script, and he did like an audio play of it, like, for charity in front of in a theater. But I'd love to hear what that script was and, like, how different it is based upon his life events from the Clerks 3 that we got.
Yeah.
You know.
I thought the Clerks 3 we got was great.
Oh, it's phenomenal. Like, don't get me wrong, it is phenomenal, but, like, I think the beauty of, like, Clerks and Clerks 2 is, like, it in many ways parallels our lives in a lot of ways.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I was that guy in 92 in a shit-ass job, making no money, but going to work every day, you know? In Clerks 2...
still the same.
Right, but at the same time, like, there was a part of it where, like, you were going through fatherhood.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, what's going to happen to me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, like, you were Dante and I was Randall.
Right.
You know? So, like, there's been a lot of things that Kevin Smith has said over the years with the Clerks movies in particular that I've really been drawn to because I feel it clicks with my life. Clerks 3 does in a lot of ways, but, you know, I think that became more about the characters to me than it was about, like, how does it transcend to my life, where I'm at? Because I haven't experienced that. He has. He's writing from his own personal experience.
Right.
You know, so I get that.
Right.
But I'd love to see just, like, so before you had the heart attack, before, you know, you ended up doing the actual Clerks 3, what was the Clerks 3 you wanted to make initially?
Right.
And, like, where would that fit into my life? Like, because that's just the odd thing about those movies.
Right.
You know. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, before we finish up, I just want to dip in the old mailbag for a second here.
Okay.
Because we got a write-in from Thad, as we do every single week. The majority of this, completely unusable.
Nice.
But he does write in a couple of things here. He says, I don't hate Pickett, but if I had to put him against the other three quarterbacks in the division, I don't see him better than Burrows or Jackson. Watson is not that good, but he does edge out Pickett at this time. How would you rank the quarterbacks? I'll be honest. To me, I think Burrow's 1, Kenny's 2, Jackson's 3, and Watson's 4.
Okay.
Now, I mean, I'm basing this off of what I saw at the end of the season, the steps I think he can take going into this year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yes, after last season, he was probably number 3 behind Jackson. But as I've stated many times on this show, like, Jackson does not impress me.
Okay.
I would not want him as my quarterback. Like, Joe Burrow is a stone cold killer. He scares me. Like, the only thing I have going for me is the fact that I think the Bengals are so fucking cheap they will not pay him. And he ends up going somewhere else.
Okay.
Like, I do. Like, I honestly do. Like, I think the Bengals are going to... Because the Bengals are the Bengals, and they're going to fuck this up.
Yeah.
Or they end up paying him, and they pay nobody else, and so he becomes that guy...
He becomes Marino.
Yeah. He's got to make people better.
Yeah.
And he ends up, like, never getting back to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I have zero faith in the Cincinnati Bengals management of making this work
Right.
more than another year or two.
Yeah.
You know?
Gotcha.
But Deshaun Jackson, I'm just not impressed with. I never have been. And I feel like when he comes up against good defenses, he clams up.
Yeah.
Like, he's never had a good game against the Steelers.
Yeah.
Ever. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't feel like Deshaun, like, Watson, like, I just think he's, again, it's the Browns. I feel like it's just, shit's going to go wrong with him. Like, he spent a year away from the game, a year plus, you know. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah.
You know, like, everybody talks about the Browns, like, oh, they've got this killer defense, and they've got this guy, and they got this guy. Like, man, it's the Browns. How many times have we heard that over the years?
Yeah, a lot.
A lot.
And how many number 1 picks have they had?
Right, exactly. So, like, yeah, I definitely think Kenny can take big strides this year because of the potential he has.
All right.
Like, even watching him in college, I've watched him get better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
if you go back to his first year to his last year, you see a dramatic improvement over those years. I feel like it's the same thing here. He's just going to get better. He's learning to play NFL football. You know, and then you throw the weapons he's got around him in DJ and Pickens and Freiermuth and that big motherfucker they got from Georgia at tight end, who's like 6'7" or some shit.
You think he's going to start?
I think they are going to find ways to get him involved. They may run a 2 tight end offense, like, and I wouldn't blame him one bit because he's a fucking moose. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he is so fucking big, like, with hands and moves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I can't see, like, or you put a linebacker on him.
Yeah.
You put a safety on him. Like, what are you doing with him? And if you're drawing attention to him, that means you're drawing attention away from somebody else. And I think, like, there's enough guys. I think Connor Hayward could be a factor. Like, there's enough guys around Kenny. If that offensive line improves the way people think it does, Najee should have a big year.
Yeah.
I know he thinks Najee is garbage, but I think part of Najee's problem is that offensive line sucked.
Right.
You know, when he got running downhill, he was a beast.
Yeah.
You know, it's just he didn't get running downhill very often because he was getting hit at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
You know? So, like, yeah, I mean, to me, that there is...
See that Pickens catch?
Oh. That was just ridiculous.
He is ridiculous.
Like everything. Like, I mean, he it's just insanity. And that even says, like, I hear rumors that Pickens is starting to get a big chest. I hope we don't have to start calling him AB Junior after he whines on not getting the ball. Well, I hate to break it to you, but that's the connection.
Yeah.
I think if Kenny's looking to anybody in crunch time, he's looking to George.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think that's Pickett to Pickens is going to be like the connection.
I agree.
You know,
I just think he's got hands.
yeah.
I mean, the guy has hands like I have never seen.
No. And, I mean, like, he's a guy, you just put it in his general area, he's going to go up and get it.
Yeah, or he's going to try.
You know, it's a horrible comparison, but this is what he honestly reminds me of just from watching him at that time. He reminds me of Larry Fitzgerald at Pitt.
Yeah.
Because he was the best player on the field, and he was just taking advantage of lesser talent that he was playing against.
Right.
You know what I mean? So Larry Fitzgerald could go up and make amazing catches because the people he was playing against were not nearly as good as him.
Right.
George Pickens is doing the same thing, but against talent that's equal to him.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, but because of his size, his range, and his hands.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's the difference. Like, Larry Fitzgerald in 2003 at Pitt, he made Rod Rutherford look like a superstar.
Right.
Because he was just making extraordinary catch after extraordinary catch. And it was because he was just that much better than the defensive backs he was playing against.
Right.
Whereas George Pickens right now is going up against Joey Porter Jr. Iron is sharpening iron in this situation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and, like, it's just like, I have nothing but high hopes for that guy.
Yeah.
You know, so. So to finish off here, that also states...
But your top receivers always have a big head.
They should. Like, that's just part of being a wide receiver.
Yeah.
Now, do I want... I don't want
Not
to see
always.
him...
Not
right.
all
No.
wide receivers.
No. I mean... But, I mean, like, they do. Like, even, like... You could say, like, well, you know, Jerry Rice. Well, Jerry Rice knew he was fucking Jerry Rice. And if he wasn't getting the ball, he told you, you know, I'm fucking Jerry Rice. You need to get me the ball.
Right.
You know, like... I think every wide receiver has to be diva-like. I think every wide receiver has to want the ball, and every wide receiver has to think, I'm the reason we're going to win a game.
Yeah.
Like, you have to have that attitude.
Yeah.
Just like every cornerback has to have the attitude, I'm the best in the league, even if you're not. And every corner has to have that attitude, I am going to shut you down on every fucking play, even if you can't.
Yeah. No, I got you.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, and... Like, I think of, like Deshae Townsend wasn't that good, but, man, he shut down a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, he did.
You know what I mean? And he got picked on a lot because nobody wanted to throw to Ike Taylor. Ike Taylor was shutting down your number one, and Deshae Townsend was shutting down your number two.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so...
God, that defense was good.
Oh, ridiculous.
I can't get over that defense.
Like, I watch highlights of that defense.
Me too.
I'm just like, by God.
And that defense might have been the best defense ever played the game.
Quite possibly. From a talent standpoint.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, statistically,
they had everything. Dude,
Right.
They held every fucking statistic.
But I
Week
mean, like,
to week to week.
Right. But I mean, like, you're talking, like, Ryan Clark, Troy Polamalu, Deshae Townsend, Ike Taylor, James Harrison, Woodley, the middle line. Like, I mean, that whole thing, like that whole defense was just ridiculous.
Stacked.
Yeah. Big Hamp, Aaron Smith,
Yeah.
the Beard.
Yeah.
Like, all 11 guys were just killers.
They were. Killers.
Killers. You know.
Wasn't that the year that every single person on the defense had a sack?
Yeah. Yeah, they found a way to get Ryan Clark a sack.
Right.
Because he played free safety. Strong free safety never gets they never in that position. They found a way to get Ryan Clark a sack. So that all 11 starters had a sack.
That's crazy.
That is.
And to do that. To be able to go, well, we're going to try to get you a sack today.
Yeah.
Because we know we're that good.
Yeah.
That we're going to put you in position to get a sack today.
Right.
That's disgusting.
It is.
I'm telling you.
Oh.
Watching those highlights, I mean, and of course watching the games themselves.
Yeah.
That undoubtedly had to be the best defense that Pittsburgh's ever had. It was disgusting.
It was.
I know people cry, oh no, it was a steel curtain. This defense was sick.
Yeah.
It won them the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It was an offense that won that Super Bowl. I mean, it was, but it wasn't.
I saw an interview with Mike Tomlin.
I'm not taking anything away from
Right.
that.
But
I'm just saying.
I watched an interview with Mike Tomlin. He was on a podcast. It was Ryan Clark's podcast. The Pivot is what it's called. And he was talking about. He was more worried about that defense. Like, when they gave up the touchdown to Larry Fitzgerald, that the Cardinals took the lead in Super Bowl 43.
Yep.
That defense was shell-shocked. And they were literally saying, we are not a legendary defense like we thought we were. And he wasn't concerned about the offense. He had faith that Ben was taking them down the field and they were going to take the lead.
Yeah.
He believed that. He believed this was that moment. He was more worried about, once they got the touchdown, how much time is left on the clock, because these guys right now are still shell-shocked that they gave up that long touchdown to Larry Fitzgerald.
Right.
Like, and that was like his concern. Like, he's like, I'm looking in their eyes and they've lost faith and I had to restore it quick.
Yeah.
And that's amazing to even think about.
Right.
But, like, how do you respond in the biggest moment of your life? Like, how would you respond to that? Like, you gave up the game-winning or the go-ahead touchdown to one of the greatest wide receivers who's ever played the game. A guy who, like, in all honesty, if they had lost that game, I would have been okay because it was Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like, because that's how much I respect, like, not only as a Pitt guy, but just as an overall player. And, like, I feel like he was wasted in the desert all those years.
All those years.
Like, for them to, like, be that shell-shocked and questioning themselves after, like, the greatest defensive play in Super Bowl history at halftime, before halftime, with Debo going coast to coast. Like, things like that are just, like, and here you are, like, questioning yourself, like, with a minute and a half to go.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, I don't know if they're going to hold them out. Like, wow. And Ryan Clark was like, he's 100% right. He ain't making nothing. We were shell-shocked.
Yeah.
Like, I was shell-shocked. Like, how do we give that up? So.
It's funny because now it's like commonplace.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right. But they're, like, okay. Like, who's a legendary defense? Like, Baltimore's defense when they won their second Super Bowl against the 49ers. They weren't legendary, but they had, Ray Lewis, and they still had Ed Reed, even though they were kind of in their twilight.
Yeah.
They were still playing at a high level. But that defense didn't win them that Super Bowl. That offense did.
Yeah.
Like, that's the year Joe Flacco earned money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, Joe Flacco earned big money off of that Super Bowl run.
Yeah.
But that defense wasn't legendary. Like, maybe the year Denver beat Carolina, Super Bowl 50.
Okay.
Like, that was probably a legend, like not legendary, but a really, 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 really good defense. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they were that good. I mean, that was the ghost of Peyton Manning playing offense.
Yeah.
That defense won that Super Bowl.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but outside of that, like, you're right. Like, and that's the only thing that worries me is, like, you see, like, all the money the Steelers have spent, and it's all on the defense. They have the highest paid defense in the league. And they've got the players that, like, they deserve to be paid, but yet defense... Unlike in years past, defense doesn't win Super Bowls, but they can lose you Super Bowls.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you need to have a really good defense, but most teams are spending on the offensive side of the ball.
Right.
You know.
Well, we're kind of fortunate in that area right now.
Because everybody's so fucking young on the
Everyone's
offensive
so
side.
young, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think that's what they were doing with the draft as well, as they're developing a young defensive core as well.
Right.
So, I mean, it's funny, you know, like before he's like, oh, it's going to be rebuilding for the next 5 years. I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's a reload.
A reload with younger players.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's not like, oh, it's a rebuild. It's going to take us 4 or 5 years to get to level, and I don't think so.
I mean, like,
I just hope Porter pays off.
I do. I think he will. Like, there are very few times where I'm like, I feel like this guy's a slam dunk.
Yeah.
I feel like Joey Porter Jr. is a slam dunk.
I hope so.
I hope so, too.
Because if he is,
Yeah.
teams are going to be in some trouble.
I agree. For a long time.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Like, you've got your guy. Like, you know, the closest we've come to a guy like that is Joe Hayden for a while. Like, since the Shea Townsend retired, Joe Hayden's the closest you've come.
Yeah.
Now you've got Patrick Peterson on one side, who's not the Patrick Peterson of 3 years ago, but he's still pretty damn good. And Joey Porter Jr. on the other side.
Right.
I'll take that all day, every day.
Yeah, I know.
You know.
No, I agree with you.
And you throw Micah Fitzpatrick in there. You know what I mean? Like, that secondary is very solid.
Yeah, that's what I think. Things are looking up on that aspect. For sure.
Yeah.
I'm just praying they can do it. It really all depends on Pickett.
It does, yeah. I mean, he needs to take steps. He needs to grow.
I think the defense is going to be there. I think the offensive line is going to be there.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think Najee's going to be able to run the ball. But I think it's all going to depend on Pickett, whether he can throw the deep ball, whether he can find the man. You know what I mean? Whether
Right.
in the middle or going deep or whatever. Whether how his accuracy is. I mean, it really all depends on Pickett. That's a lot of pressure on that kid. I mean, like, can you imagine the pressure? Because he has to know that.
He does.
I mean, like, he has to know that this whole team is built around him. I know that sounds like weird, but it actually is, because they have stepped up their defense to be able to shut down offenses,
Right.
in order for him to be able to go down the field and score.
Right.
They have upped their offensive line to
Yeah.
protect him, so he can actually throw the ball and Najee can run the ball.
Right.
In order to succeed. They have brought in weapons for him and drafted weapons for him
Right.
in order for him to be able to use.
Right.
So the whole team is centered around Kenny Pickett.
Right.
Not Mitch Trubisky,
Right.
not Mason Rudolph.
Right.
It's centered around this guy
Right.
and what he can do.
And you're expected to be the franchise.
Correct. That's what I mean.
And you're succeeding a guy who was the franchise.
For years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
You know.
That's a lot of pressure.
It is.
And I hope he pays off. I do.
I do too. Like, I mean.
I'm not talking just because he's a Pitt kid.
Right.
I'm talking like, as a quarterback, he needs to be able to do it.
Because here's the thing, and this is what people don't remember. The doldrums after Terry Bradshaw. The search for a quarterback after Terry Bradshaw. You're talking Cliff Stout, Mark Malone, David Woodley, Todd Blackledge, Bobby Brister, Neil O'Donnell,
I fucking hate Neil.
Mike Tomczak,
Yeah.
Cordell.
Which was ahead of his time.
He was,
anyway.
in a way. Like, I think he would succeed more in today's NFL than he did in the NFL of the 90s.
I agree.
You know, but...
Again, waste. I mean, like, yeah. One of the...
Tommy Maddox. You know, I mean, like, there's a list of quarterbacks that you were just like, where is our franchise guy?
I just don't want him to be one of those guys.
Neither do I.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
I mean, the whole city's behind this kid. They are.
Right.
They love him.
Yeah.
I mean, they do.
Yeah.
Especially coming from Pitt, that doesn't hurt.
No.
You know what I mean? Right.
But I feel I just, based upon what I've seen from him, I feel like he is going to grow. I feel like this is a big step year.
Have you seen anything from training camp? Not just about him, just about anybody.
I mean, the thing everybody talks about is like every day George Pickens makes a ridiculous play.
I know.
Like, that's what you hear from training camp. And the defense is getting pissed at whenever they make a play, nobody cheers. Like, so, like, I feel like...
Good.
Yeah.
Get a chip on their shoulder.
Yeah.
That's what you want, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the defense is going to be there.
I do too.
Quite honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we got linebackers out the wazoo.
I think here's the thing, and this is the thing I'm going to say to the defense. Not that anybody on our defense listens to this show, but in case you are, like, don't take it to heart, because if anybody's going to camp to watch, they want to see the offense. Like, in all honesty. Like, nobody wants to go see the defense at camp.
Yeah.
Come game 1 against San Francisco, when you're blowing up plays, that place will be a madhouse.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but today, you know, you're breaking up a pass to Deontay Johnson. Nobody wants that.
Yeah, right.
They want to see Deontay make that catch. They want to see Najee run the ball. They want to see, so yes, that nobody wants to see you succeed in camp, because that's not what people are coming to see.
Right.
But I guarantee you, when you're destroying San Francisco and blowing up plays against them, they will love every second of it.
Oh, yeah.
So.
That's the truth.
Anything like that in the proceedings there, sir?
No, I'm good.
Remember, there are a number of different ways you can reach out and touch us.
Hey.
You can send us an email like Thad does each and every week. The majority of the time we don't read it because it has nothing to do with the show. But this time he did. And that email address is pittsburghnerd@yahoo.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, or Mastodon. Just search Pittsburgh Nerd Podcast. We're very, very easy to find. And lastly, we're also on a number of podcasting networks. You can find us on the Tangent Bound Network, the Weeby Geeks Network, and the Pod Breed Network. Just do a Google search. You can find all the other great podcasts they have to offer. And lastly, as always, we want to thank you, dear listener, for taking the time to check us out each and every week. We can't thank you enough for doing so. And on that note, the dreamer has awakened.
Peace.